I spent 2 years building the code behind our startup, and 3 days after we signed with our first major investor, my co-founder cut me out of the company we had built together in his apartment. I am Priya. I am 29, and I am a software engineer. 2 years ago, a friend from college asked me to build the backend for an idea he had. A scheduling tool for small clinics. I said yes because I believed in it, and because he promised me an equal 50% stake the moment we formally incorporated the business. For 2 years I wrote almost every line of that platform's core system, nights and weekends, while keeping a full-time job to pay my rent. He handled outreach, pitch decks, and investor meetings. We agreed to split ownership evenly once we raised our first serious round. I trusted a verbal agreement between two people who had known each other for a decade. That was my mistake, and I did not see it as one at the time. 3 months ago, we finally closed our first major funding round. $500,000 from a respected investor who believed in the product I had built with my own hands, line by line, for 2 years. 4 days after the funds landed in the company account, I received an email. Not from him directly, from the company's new lawyer. It informed me that my role had been reclassified as a paid contractor, retroactively, for the entire 2 years. According to the incorporation documents filed the week before the funding closed, he held 98% of the company. I held 2%, listed as compensation for freelance development work. I had never signed anything giving away my ownership. I had never agreed to be a contractor. I called him immediately. He said the investor required a single clear founder for the deal to close, and that he would, quote, take care of me later, once things stabilized financially. I did not argue on that call. I hung up, and I opened every version control commit I had ever made to that codebase, going back to the very beginning. 2 years of time-stamped commits. My name, my account, on nearly every core feature the product was built around, going back to the very first line of code, 18 months before he had ever mentioned an investor's name to me at all. I also had 2 years of messages where he referred to me as his co-founder, in writing, including one sent to the investor himself just 5 months earlier, describing me by name as, quote, the technical co-founder who built this entire platform from scratch. I hired an employment and equity attorney, not to threaten him, to document a legitimate claim first, quietly, before saying a single public word. Founder equity disputes are common enough that investors take them seriously because an unresolved ownership fight puts their entire investment at risk. My attorney sent formal notice to both my former co-founder and the investor's legal counsel, with the commit history and his own written words attached as evidence of my actual role and contribution to the platform. The investors team reviewed everything within a week. They did not want to fund a company built on a disputed and undocumented equity structure, no matter how promising the product looked. They froze the second half of the funding tranche until the ownership question was resolved through mediation. Mediation took 6 weeks. In the end, my equity was restored to 25%, formally documented and vested on a standard schedule, along with back pay for the 2 years I had been misclassified as a contractor instead of a founder. He kept control of the company and the majority stake. I kept a fair, legally protected stake in something I had built from nothing, plus a settlement that reflected the 2 years of my life he had tried to quietly erase from the paperwork. People ask if I feel like I won. I own part of something real now, on paper, permanently, in a way no one can quietly rewrite again. What I lost was any version of that friendship, and 2 years I spent trusting a verbal promise instead of a signed one. I still use the platform sometimes, out of habit, checking it the way you check on something you built with your own hands. My name is not on the company page anymore. It is in the commit history, forever, whether he likes it or not. He tried to erase 2 years of my work with a single email from a lawyer I had never met. It took a version control log and his own written words to prove exactly whose hands had actually built it, from the very first line of code.